Welcome, beautiful soul. Before you hear a single word of this message, know that the angels have already placed their hands gently over your heart. You are blessed. You are seen. You are so deeply loved by forces far greater than anything the eye can see. This message found you today because heaven made sure it would. So take a breath, settle in, and please stay with this message all the way to the end, because what is waiting for you in these words could completely shift something inside you that has been quietly waiting to move for a very long time. What you are about to discover is something your heart has known in the background but never quite had the words for. Something is happening right now in the invisible world, just for you. And by the time you finish with this message, you will feel it in your chest. Welcome to Angel's message for you. Dear one, your guardian angel has been given permission to reveal something to you today. Something private, something tender, something so real and so specific that when you hear it, a part of you is going to feel a warmth you have not felt in a while. Something in you is going to recognize this truth before your mind even has a chance to decide what to do with it. Here it is. Your soulmate has a ritual. Every single night, before closing their eyes and drifting off to sleep, this person does something deeply personal, deeply spiritual, and completely intentional. It happens every night without fail. Even on the hard days, even when they are exhausted, even when the world has worn them completely thin, this ritual never stops, because it is not just a habit. It is a choice made out of love for you. What your soulmate does every night before sleep is this. They let go. They release everything that does not belong in the sacred space between the two of you. Old pain, old fear, old wounds from a past that no longer needs to define what comes next. Every night, this person takes a quiet moment, places a hand over their own heart, breathes in slowly and deeply, and begins to clear. They speak to the universe. They speak to their guardian angel. They speak to whatever higher power they feel connected to. And they say, I want to be clean enough to love. I want to be ready. And then, one by one, they begin to release everything that could block, delay, or complicate the sacred connection that has already been placed between the two of you by heaven itself. This is not wishful thinking. This is not a passing phase or an emotional moment that fades with the morning light. This is a practice, a real, consistent, deeply intentional spiritual practice that has been happening night after night, building energy, building intention, building a bridge directly toward you across the invisible space between souls. Your soulmate understands something that not everyone is brave enough to face. That real love cannot grow in a cluttered heart. That if you want to truly show up for someone, if you want to arrive without walls and without weight dragging behind you, you have to first be willing to do the hard inner work. The quiet, unglamorous, deeply personal work of facing yourself honestly. And that is exactly what this person has been doing. They are not waiting for things to magically fix themselves over time. They are not hoping that old wounds will just quietly disappear. They are actively choosing to grow, actively choosing to heal, actively choosing to arrive at your door with a heart that is light, open, and genuinely ready to receive you and to be received in return. And here is what makes this so powerful, dear one. Heaven noticed. The angels noticed. I noticed. And that is why this message is being delivered to you right now, in this exact season of your life, because the energy your soulmate is releasing every single night has a destination. It has a direction. It has a name. And that name is yours. Maybe you have already been feeling something lately that you could not quite put words to. A quiet sense that something around you is shifting even though nothing on the surface has visibly changed. An unexpected feeling of peace washing over you in moments when you least expected it. A dream that felt different from other dreams, warmer, more vivid, more real, like a memory of something that has not happened yet but somehow already feels familiar. A thought of someone that drifted into your mind out of nowhere and stayed longer than usual. A sensation in your chest, a warmth or a pulling that arrived without any obvious cause. None of that is coincidence, dear equals one. None of it is your imagination running away with you. That is the energy of your soulmate finding you, reaching across the invisible space between you and quietly touching something in your heart that is already responding, even before your mind has caught up. Let me walk you through what is really happening on the other side of this connection, because you deserve to know all of it. Your soulmate sits down at the edge of the bed each night and does something that takes real courage. True courage. Not the kind that shows up in dramatic moments. The kind that shows up in the quiet when no one else is watching, when there is no applause and no reward, when it would be so easy to just scroll through a phone or watch something until sleep comes. Instead, this person chooses to face themselves honestly. They look at the parts of their own story that still carry pain. The old heartbreaks, the moments they acted out of fear and later wished they had done differently. The times they shut down or pulled away when opening up was what was needed. The patterns that once protected them from getting hurt but now only keep love at a safe and lonely distance. And instead of pushing all of that back down into the dark, instead of distracting themselves from the discomfort of looking at it clearly, they look at it. They acknowledge it. They sit with it. And then they choose to let it go. Not to forget that it happened. Not to pretend the pain was not real. But to place it down gently and say, you served your purpose. You taught me what you needed to teach me. But I do not need to carry you anymore. This place in my heart is being cleaned out for something new. Something true. Something worth keeping. This takes extraordinary strength. And your soulmate is doing it every single night with your name somewhere quietly in their heart. This person has made what you might call a sacred agreement with the universe. A decision so clear, so firm, and so rooted in genuine love that it has set something in motion in the spiritual realm that cannot be undone. The decision is this: I want to be worthy of this love. I want to be someone who can receive and give love without walls, without defensiveness, without dragging old pain into something new and beautiful. I want to arrive whole, and I am going to do the inner work to get there. Not someday, not when things get easier. Now, every night, one piece at a time. That kind of commitment moves things in the invisible world. That kind of commitment moves heaven. When someone makes a choice like that, not out of pressure, not out of loneliness, not out of desperation, but out of real love and real self-awareness, the universe begins to rearrange itself. Blocks begin to dissolve. Old cycles begin to close. The invisible path between two souls starts to clear. And the angels, the guides, the divine forces that watch over sacred connections begin to move with more urgency because something true is being honored. Something real is being treated with the care it deserves. I was called into this. Your soulmate reached out not with loud or dramatic words, but with something far more powerful than that. A quiet, sincere, humble request made in the dark before sleep. Please clear the way. Please remove what is in between us. Please protect this connection until the right moment arrives. And that request carried such genuine purity in it, such real love behind it, that I could not look away. I responded. I am still responding. I am working on the invisible side of this connection right now, loosening what is stuck, dissolving what is blocking the path, protecting what is being quietly built between you. You may not be able to see this work with your physical eyes, but if you go quiet enough and pay attention to what you feel rather than what you can logically explain, you are already feeling the results. That unexpected breath of relief, that moment when an old worry just quietly stopped having power over you. That shift in your emotional field where something that used to feel heavy now feels lighter without any obvious reason. That is not random. That is the response to what your soulmate has been asking for night after night in that sacred space before sleep. Now here is something I want you to really stay with, dear one. Your soulmate is not just doing work to release the past. This person is calling out to heaven specifically on your behalf. Every night, in that quiet, sacred ritual before sleep, your soulmate prays for you, not just for the two of you to eventually be together, but specifically and tenderly for you as a person, for your peace, for your well-being, for your heart to feel held and safe, for your strength on the days when things feel uncertain. This person sends energy toward you with a desire not just to love you, but to genuinely be someone who adds light to your life. Not someone who brings more weight. Not someone who needs to be carried. Someone who walks beside you as an equal, as a true partner, as a presence that lifts you rather than leans on you. Think about that for a moment. Really let it land. While you have been going about your days, while you have been navigating your own life, doing your own healing, managing your own moments of doubt and hope and everything in between, someone on the other side of this invisible bond has been lying down each night and praying for your well-being, sending energy toward you with love and with intention, asking heaven to keep your faith alive, to help you stay open, to make sure you feel something meaningful even if you do not yet have all the answers or understand exactly what it is you are feeling. You are being held in prayer by someone who loves you deeply, and I have been making sure those prayers find you. There is something else you need to understand. This whole process is affecting you whether you are consciously aware of it or not. When someone who is spiritually connected to you makes the choice to heal themselves, part of that healing ripples outward and touches you. It is like a tuning fork. When one vibrates at a new and higher frequency, the one it is connected to begins to feel the invitation to rise to match it. Not by force, not by demand, just by resonance, by the invisible pull of genuine love reaching across the space between two souls. You may have already been noticing this in small but real ways, a growing desire to take better care of yourself that you cannot fully explain. A feeling that shallow or surface-level connections no longer satisfy you the way they once did. A clearer, more grounded sense of what you actually want from love and what you are no longer willing to accept in its place. A quiet but persistent intuition that something real is approaching and you want to be ready when it arrives. These are not random feelings. These are not coincidences. These are reflections of a deeper process that is actively happening between the two of you in the spiritual realm, whether or not either of you can fully see it yet. Your soulmate is changing, and in their changing, something in you is being stirred awake too. That is how this bond works. It is not one-sided. It is not one person doing all the work while the other simply waits. Even if you cannot see it, even if you are not consciously participating in the same nightly ritual, your own soul is responding. Your own energy field is shifting. You are being prepared just as much as your soulmate is preparing themselves. The universe does not bring two souls together when only one of them is ready. It works. It moves. It operates quietly behind the scenes until both people have arrived at the same level of genuine readiness. Not perfection, not having everything figured out, but readiness, the willingness to show up with honesty and with an open heart. And right now, both of you are arriving at that place. There was a time when this connection might not have taken hold. When the wounds on one side or the other were still too raw, the fears too loud, the old patterns too deeply carved into everyday behavior. Maybe your soulmate was still tied to something from the past that they had not yet found the courage to face. Maybe you were also in a different place in your own journey, looking for answers in places that could not actually give them to you, not yet fully trusting the quiet wisdom of your own inner voice. None of that was anyone's fault. It was simply the timing of the soul's journey. Every season has its purpose, and this is your season. What is different right now is the level of awareness that both of you have arrived at. The choices being made now are not coming from impulse. They are not driven by loneliness or by a desperate need to fill an empty space. They are coming from a much more grounded, clear-eyed, genuinely mature place inside both of you. Your soulmate is no longer running from their own reflection when they see it in the quiet. And you, dear equals one, are also becoming someone who is no longer willing to settle for a love that does not truly honor who you are and what you deserve. A quick reminder, some channels are reposting and copying our content. So before you go deeper into this message, check the channel name carefully. You should be watching Angel's Message for You, the original channel. This alignment between the two of you is not something that happened by accident. The universe has been watching and waiting for exactly this. For two souls who have done enough of their own real inner work to meet each other without bringing a storm of unresolved pain crashing into the space between them. That is what makes this moment different from other moments. That is why everything around you right now feels like it is quietly building towards something meaningful. Keep paying attention, because the signs are already arriving, and they are going to keep coming. Some of them have been emotional, a feeling of peace that shows up without any clear external reason. An unexpected lightness that washes over you on an ordinary afternoon when nothing special has happened. A sense of calm certainty that something important is on its way, even while everything on the visible surface of your life still looks the same as it always has. These emotional signs are real. Trust them. Some signs have been mental, recurring thoughts about a specific person or connection that keeps coming back no matter how many times you try to push it aside. A song that comes on and moves you in a way you cannot quite justify. A phrase that someone says to you in a random moment that lands with unexpected weight, like it was meant specifically for you. A dream so warm and vivid that you wake from it feeling like something has already shifted, even before your day has properly begun. Some signs have been even more subtle than that. A feeling of not being alone in a quiet room, even when no one else is there. A warmth in your chest that arrives in the still moments. A deep and wordless sense of being watched over, protected, gently held by something larger and wiser than what you can see with your eyes. All of it is real. All of it is intentional. Heaven speaks in the language of subtle feeling. And once you learn to listen with your heart instead of waiting for your logical mind to confirm everything, you will realize you have been receiving messages all along. You have simply been learning the language. Here is something important to understand about the spiritual work that is happening right now on your behalf. When your soulmate releases something old and heavy each night, when they set down a fear, a wound, a pattern, a piece of an old story that no longer needs to be carried, that release does something powerful. Creates space. And space is exactly what love needs in order to grow. Love cannot truly bloom in a defended, closed-off, cluttered heart, but in a heart that is actively being cleared, actively being opened, actively being offered up to something higher. Love does not just knock quietly on that door. It floods in. Your soulmate is flooding their own heart with light every single night. And some of that light is spilling over and crossing the invisible distance between you, finding you, touching you, waking something up inside you that has been patiently, faithfully waiting for exactly this kind of love to arrive. And you are not just a passive receiver in this story. That is something I want to be very clear about. You are a full and active part of this. You have been doing your own growing, your own healing, your own quiet transformation. Maybe you did not think of it in those terms. Maybe it simply felt like surviving hard chapters, like getting through seasons that stretched you further than you thought you could stretch, like learning things about yourself that you sometimes wished you did not have to learn the way you had to learn them. But all of that navigation, all of that learning, every single moment where you chose not to close your heart completely even when it would have been so much easier to, all of it has been preparation. Sacred preparation. You have been making yourself ready, even without consciously knowing that was what you were doing. And now, right now, in this very season, both of you are arriving at something real together. Not a perfect destination, not a story with no challenges, but something grounded, spiritually aligned, and deeply true. A readiness to love without hiding behind old fear. A readiness to be fully present with another person without constantly bracing for the moment it will fall apart. A readiness to build something not just beautiful on the surface but solid and steady all the way down to the roots. That is what is coming for you. And it is coming not because you suffered long enough to deserve it, not because fate owed you something after everything you have been through. It is coming because a decision was made in love. A commitment was honored in truth. And heaven always, without exception, responds to that. I have been asked to share something specific with you in this message. Your soulmate wants you to hold on. Not in the way that grips and controls and suffocates, but in the way that stays open, in the way that keeps the door of your heart unlocked even when doubt tries quietly to slide the bolt shut. Your soulmate is moving toward you, not in a rush, not in desperation, but with the kind of steady, intentional, purposeful movement that real and lasting love requires. The kind of movement that says, I am not just arriving at your door impulsively. I am arriving having prepared, having grown, having become someone I can be proud to offer to you. This person is not trying to impress you with grand gestures or promises that sound beautiful in the moment and then evaporate when life gets complicated. This person is becoming someone, right now, night after night. One release, one sincere prayer, one small but courageous choice at a time. And the person they are becoming. They are coming for you. You deserve a love like this. Not a love that sweeps in like a storm and then disappears just as suddenly. But a love that has been prepared carefully, tended to with patience, offered up to the universe with open hands, and sent toward you with clear, clean, and genuine intention. A love that knows what it is choosing and chooses it anyway. That is what is on its way to you. And here is what I want to ask of you in return for all of this. In these coming days, give yourself permission to receive. That might sound like a simple thing, but for many beautiful souls, receiving is actually the hardest practice there is. They have spent so long giving, so long waiting, so long quietly wondering in the back of their heart whether they are truly enough, that when something real finally starts to approach, they almost do not trust it. They look for the catch. They wait for the moment it reveals itself as something less than it seemed. They hold their breath and brace themselves instead of opening their arms. Do not do that, dear one. You do not need to do that anymore. When you feel that unexpected warmth arriving in a quiet moment, let it warm you all the way through. When you feel that sense of peace settling over you, sit inside of it without trying to analyze whether you have earned it. When something in you stirs with a feeling of quiet recognition, with a sense of knowing this energy even though you cannot explain how, trust that. That is your soul recognizing what is real. And your soul does not make mistakes about these things. In the days and nights ahead, if you can, take a few moments before you go to sleep to be completely quiet with yourself. No phone in your hand, no background noise, no list running through your head. Just you and the silence and whatever you feel moving through your heart in that stillness. You may sense that you are not alone. You may feel a warmth near you, an energy that is not coming from outside but that feels close, familiar, like something that knows you. If that happens, breathe into it. Do not question it or try to dissect it. Just receive it, because that presence is your soulmate, in their own quiet way, sending you a message without any words at all. A message that simply says, I am doing this for you. I am on my way. Rest now, beloved, and wait for me, here with peace. And you can answer back in that same silence. Not with words, just with openness. Just with a heart that has made the choice to stay soft. Just with a soul that is willing to believe in what it feels even when it cannot yet see it with its eyes. Because that is all that is truly being asked of you right now. Not perfection, not certainty, not having every answer mapped out ahead of time. Just a willingness to stay open. Just a quiet inner decision to keep the door of your heart unlocked and to trust that what is meant for you will find its way through. The universe is already moving on your behalf right now. The angels are already clearing what needs to be cleared from the path. Your soulmate is already making the inner changes that will change everything between you when the right moment arrives. And you are already more ready than you fully realize. What once felt like endless, uncertain waiting is beginning to reveal itself as something with far more meaning than simple waiting ever could. It was preparation, deep and sacred preparation, the kind that shapes two people from the inside out so that when they finally come together, they meet not as two broken pieces trying to fill each other's gaps, but as two whole and aware and loving souls who are choosing each other freely, consciously, and completely. That is a rare and precious thing in this world, and it is being offered to you. So let go of any fear that this will not happen the way your heart has felt it should. Let go of any doubt that you are worthy of a love this real and this intentional. Let go of any old story that has tried to convince you that love like this simply does not exist or cannot last, or is somehow not meant for someone like you. Because every one of those stories is exactly what your soulmate is releasing on the other side every single night. And you are allowed, completely allowed, to do the same right now. To release the doubt, to release the fear, to release the old narrative, and to make space, deep and wide and welcoming space, for what is already on its way to you. The love that is coming has been built with intention and with care. It has been grown quietly in the sacred space between sleep and waking. It has been offered up to heaven again and again with honesty and humility. Carries no hidden agenda, no half-hearted energy, no foot hesitating at the door. It comes with both hands open, with eyes that are clear, with a heart that has done the work and is genuinely ready to show you what love looks like when it is handled with the reverence it deserves. You will feel it when it arrives. You will not need to analyze it or convince yourself of it or ask someone else whether it is real. You will simply know. The way you know warmth without having to think about what warmth means. The way you know home without needing anyone to explain the concept to you. You will know. And in that knowing there will be a peace so deep and so complete that it will settle something in you that has been restless for a very long time. That moment is coming, dear equals one. It is being arranged right now in ways that are invisible to the eye but absolutely real to the heart. And every night that your soulmate chooses to do this sacred and courageous inner work, that moment draws closer. More solid, more inevitable, more real, until the day it simply becomes your life. Hold on. Stay open. Trust the signs when they come. Trust what you feel in the quiet moments. Trust the certainty that lives underneath all the noise and doubt and fear. The certainty that has been there all along. That soft and steady voice inside you that has always known this was real. It is real. Heaven is watching over this connection with a tenderness and a care that goes beyond anything words can fully describe. Your guardian angel is here right now, beside you. The path is being cleared. The energy is moving. And the love that has been built in silence, night after night, prayer after prayer, one small courageous choice at a time, is on its way home. To you. Rest easy tonight, beautiful soul. You are not alone. You are held by something greater than you can see. You are guided by love that does not waver. And what is coming for you is more real, more grounded, and more full of genuine beauty than anything fear ever tried to convince you was out of reach. May heaven's peace be with you today and every day. May every doubt lose its grip and every sign be clear as morning light. May your heart stay open and your faith stay strong and steady. May you feel, even in the quietest and most ordinary moments of your daily life, that you are being walked toward by a love that has already chosen you, that made the choice before you even knew there was a choice being made. Because that is the truth, and truth always finds its way home. With all the love heaven can pour into a single message, your guardian angel. There is one more thing the angels want you to carry with you as you move through the days ahead. Dear equals one. Something that will serve you well not just in love but in everything. The changes you are feeling inside yourself right now are not just about this one connection. They are about who you are becoming. They are about the version of you that is emerging from this season. And that version of you, the one being shaped by everything you have navigated and learned and survived and grown through, that person is extraordinary. That person has a depth and a tenderness and a quiet inner strength that is genuinely rare. And that is the person that this love is being drawn toward. Not a perfect version of you with no scars and no story. The real you, the whole you, the one who has been through things and is still here, still open, still willing to believe. Your soulmate is not looking for someone without a past. They are looking for someone who has a soul, and you have one that shines. There may be moments ahead where your old doubts try to speak up, where the fear says, what if this is just wishful thinking? What if I am building something up in my heart that will not be there when I reach for it? That voice is natural. It is the voice of self-protection. And it served you well in moments when you genuinely needed protecting. But this is not one of those moments. This is a moment that calls for something different. It calls for the courage to stay open even when opening feels risky. Because the love that is being prepared for you is not the kind that disappears. It is not the kind that burns bright for a moment and leaves ash. It is the kind that grows steadier over time. The kind that deepens the longer it is tended. The kind that is being built on real choices rather than fleeting feelings. So when doubt speaks, you do not need to argue with it or fight it. Just acknowledge it gently and then return your attention to what you actually feel underneath it. That quiet certainty, that warmth that does not come from logic, that sense of something drawing near that is unmistakable when you get still enough to feel it. That is your truth, and your truth is worth coming back to again and again, as many times as it takes. Heaven also wants you to know something about timing. Because if you are someone who has been waiting and wondering whether something real will ever arrive, this part is especially for you. The universe does not operate on urgency. It does not rush what is sacred. It does not deliver something precious before the ground is ready to hold it. And the reason this love has not arrived in its full physical form yet is not because it is not real, and it is not because you are not worthy, and it is not because something has gone wrong. It is because something is being built properly, from the ground up, with the right foundation, in the right order, so that when it arrives, it can stay. So that when it arrives, it does not fall apart the first time something challenging comes along. So that when it arrives, it has the roots to hold. Your soulmate has understood this. That is why this person is not trying to rush or force or push things into a shape they are not yet ready to take. This person is trusting the process, trusting that what is being built in the spiritual realm will find its way into the physical world at exactly the right moment. And every night of honest, humble, intentional inner work is another brick in the foundation of what you two will eventually share. And you can trust this process too. You can breathe. You can release the grip of urgency. You can stop measuring your worth by how quickly this love arrives and instead trust that it is being timed with a precision that your human eyes cannot always see but your heart can absolutely feel when it gets quiet enough. The universe has never abandoned a love that was being prepared with this much sincerity. Never. What is true always finds its way to what it belongs with. Always. That is not sentiment. That is law. The spiritual law that governs connection, that governs healing, that governs the way hearts that are meant to find each other eventually do, no matter how many seasons pass between them. Your love is in that category. It is governed by that law, and heaven is honoring it. So here is what I leave you with, dear equals one. Right now, in this very moment, as you finish reading these words, something is already in motion. Your soulmate is working. The angels are working. Heaven is working. And you, by simply being here, by being open enough to receive this message, by staying present long enough to let these words land in your heart, you are working too. You are participating in something real and sacred even right now. Just a quick heads up. Some people are stealing and reposting our content. So always make sure you're listening to the Real Angel's Message for You channel for the original messages and energy. Carry this with you. Let it settle into your body like warmth. Let it become something you return to on the days when the noise of the world gets loud and the doubts creep back in. Because this is not just a message. This is a reminder that you are not forgotten, that you are not overlooked, that the love your heart has always known was possible is not just possible. It is already on its way, being prepared with intention, being sent with purpose, being guided by hands greater than anything either of you can see. You are loved, beautiful soul, deeply, completely, in ways that go beyond what any single message could fully hold. And what is coming for you is worthy of every single day you have been on this journey. Every prayer, every moment of hope, every night you chose not to give up on the possibility of something real. It was never for nothing. It was always for this. Stay open. Stay soft. Stay true to the voice inside you that has always known love like this was real. Because it is. And it is coming for you. With all the love that heaven can carry. Amen.